Gary, last week you said you wanted to find out a little bit how your players would play without the pressure on them. What did you learn from your team?
I thought we played well. There was still a little bit of pressure because we wasn't quite out of it, But I mean, obviously it was going to be too big a turnaround anyway. But I thought we gave a really good account of ourselves up at Brighton, and the word that we've had from Brighton about our tactics and how we stopped them playing their pattern, as well as us sort of creating ourselves a couple of chances, and it being live on Sky, I thought we did our reputation no harm, to be honest. And most people wonder how we were relegated, with the way we played. But anyway, that was the case, and I thought the lads come out of it quite well, and we'd like to finish the season well. We got a team in Middlesbrough that are very, very similar to the way Brighton play, and are very similar to the way a lot of the Championship teams play. And we've got to stop their pattern as well, and then try and play our stuff.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Middlesbrough, I guess their home finale as well, of course, isn't it? So from that point of view, they're going to want to finish the season in style, if you like. Yeah,
I think so. The new managers that are at football clubs, they don't see it as they'll look too far ahead. They just want to show their board of directors that they've come in and turned it around, and this is how many points I've got you. And everyone can be excited for next year. That's what they're trying to achieve. So I'm sure they'll come down here with their strongest team, and it's a good Championship team, Middlesbrough. They've been a little bit inconsistent, but they're a good Championship team, and again we're going to have to be playing Championship football to stay in touch.
Yeah, nice to have the final game at home.
Yeah, that's always nice. Yeah. Because we can thank the fans for their support this year, and it has been very, very good support in its not in the numbers so much, because we would have expected a few more in the Championship, but certainly the ones that did come to our home games and the ones that did come to our away games, they've been fantastic, and hopefully we've rewarded them, not in staying in the division, but we've rewarded them in them seeing their team, Yeovil Town Football Club, playing Championship football. Not just being in the Championship, but on occasions playing Championship football. And of course there's a difference in quality on occasions with the big teams that are going to the Premiership and ourselves, but the lads give their all, and so did the supporters.
Yeah, and it's one to look forward to, isn't it, against a big team in the Championship, of course, in Middlesbrough.
Yeah, it is one. That is one to look forward to, because it's always, the end of the season is either happy or sad, and it's a bit sad that we're dropping out, but the club's got to bounce back, and it's got to do everything it can to be competitive in the First Division, so that the next time it gets to the Championship, it's competitive.
And how's the squad looking for the weekend in terms of injury-wise?
It's looking okay. Not too many injuries. We've got to pick a team that we think can do the job, and that's what we've done. And we've done that all season. There are lads that have not trained for a few days during the week, which you always get, and they'll be sort of 60-40, 70-30. But again, we never divulge that information too early.
No, and you must look back on the season with pride, though, the way that your team played.
I have looked back on it with pride, with the way the club's sort of reputation is still intact despite a relegation. There's not been too many negatives around, negative talk about us. Most people feel that we've been unlucky. Most people feel that we've got a group of lads that are giving their all. Our supporters have been very good for our club, because there's been no problems or trouble. Yeovil's a nice club that's competitive, and that's what we've got to try and keep. And that reputation, I do believe that we've kept.
Yeah. Do you look back at a particular game with relegation, or as a highlight, do you look back at any game that stands out for you?
I think there was a few that stood out. I mean, obviously the Leicester performance, the Reading away performance, Wigan away performance, and then you got the disappointments of the Derby away being 2-0 up, and last minute goals against us, sort of thing. Where that's a matter of concentration, and lads at the higher level, because they have more of the ball, often they concentrate for longer and don't get tired as quick. We are a fit team, but sometimes we gave the ball away a little bit too quickly, so that we was defending too much, and so we've got to look at that. But there were certainly highlights and lowlights, but overall I think we was we competed with the championship pretty well. Yeah,
and what do you expect for the finale? Do you expect two teams maybe winding down in that sort of mode, or is it going to be an intense game?
No, both teams are going to want to win. You know, we'd be nice to beat another championship team on our way out, if you like, and I'm sure, as I say, their new manager is going to want to show that his way of playing and his team can put in a challenge next year. So he's got to leave his supporters and his directors with the feeling that he's the man to take them forward.
Yeah, and of course after this game the next thing will be the futures of players and staff and so on that will come into the spotlight, the retain list and stuff like that. Is that something you'll be putting out reasonably quick?
Yeah, it is. There's people that are out of contract. I've said before, some you're going to be offering a contract to. It's their choice then to turn it down if they wish. Some you won't be offering a contract to, so they'll find new pastures. And then, as I say, you've got people that are in contract, some of which you're going to need to say, look, I'm sorry, but you're probably not going to be a regular next year, so it's up to you whether you find somewhere new or whether you stay with us and fight for your place. But and and then you've got the loans that will go back anyway, and so we won't be left. Won't be left with many as in numbers. So that's why the club's got to work out quickly, where it wants to do, how it wants to compete, how quickly it wants to compete, and where, what level they want to compete at. In which case, there's some big decisions for them to make.
Good luck, Gary.
Thank you.
That's interesting. So I guess if you're not going to have the full squad at the moment, you'd feel in theory that guys from League One would be rushing to join Yeovil, who stand a good chance of getting promoted back up again. But your concern seems to be that you might not have the resources to encourage those guys that you will have be able to get promoted again.
Yeah, that's what the worry is, of course, because if a player, for whatever reason, is happy with Yeovil, but he's been at a higher level or he's earned more money previously, and so therefore he's more experienced. If we're not in the market for those types of players, then the club will have to do exactly what it's done before, and that is take those gambles. And some of them gambles come off, some of them don't come off because they are gambles, and some of them it takes more time than one season to make them into, whether it be first division players or championship players, and that's the problem we've had. We've seen a few lads, a little bit like Kiefer Moore really, get better towards the end of the season, and unfortunately we lost him just at the wrong time when it looked like the penny had dropped. But so that's but you can't keep doing that. There's not enough players out there that have got the quality enough to be at the top of the first division stroke championship as a gamble, if you know what I mean. Sometimes you've got to go with people that have been there and done it, and people that have been to war already. You want to go with them and then by your side if you're a rookie.
You mentioned the club's got to decide exactly what it wants to achieve. What would you like to see the club do over the summer that would be different come September next year?
Well, it's a forward thinking, as I've said, thinking bigger, as I've always said. Now, thinking bigger might just mean, okay, we're going to make sure that this club competes as a first division club stroke championship. Now, there's a budget for that, and of course there'll be a lower budget for the first division stroke second division club, and then you're flirting back again with the conference. So there's two budgets that there's already been talk about what I'm supposed to have asked for, and I know that's now been apologised for, I think, which is great, because I'm not asking for something that I don't think the club can achieve. That's the big thing, and I promise you that. And I think if the club achieves the recommendations that I've sort of put forward, then I think we can have another go at it.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Gary, do you tend to look back on it with a little bit of frustration, because it looks as though by the time the final league table is published after Saturday's results, we could be possibly only 4 points off safety. Is there not a sense of frustration when you look back at all those decisions back the early part of the season?
Well, there is, but we could have been 20 points off. You know, we could have been relegated just after Christmas if, you know, if you take the finances of us and others. You know, so actually we've, you know, the frustration as you are so close, I understand, and yes, we all are, because you can easily say, well, if that goal didn't go in, or that person didn't make that mistake, or we didn't switch off late on in that game, or we got a draw, you could easily find 4 points. You can find 9 points from referees' decisions that have said that they were definitely ours. So there's 9 already. So there's a frustration there a little bit. But you are where you are, and that's where we are. You know, what you've got to keep doing is, football does that, doesn't it? You have a fantastic season. We beat Brentford in the final. They're all upset, and we're hyper and happy and everything. And then the following season, they get into the Championship, and we're back in it. That's football, and that's, if you've been in football, that's exactly what happens. You know, what goes around comes round, and so you've just got to be in it long enough and enjoy it for long enough that you compete more seasons than you don't. Do you know what I mean? But we competed above our level because we probably wasn't ready for the Championship. But what happens is when teams like Bournemouth and teams like Brentford, who pay out many, many more millions to win the First Division, then they've got those players to maintain a Championship challenge, as Bournemouth did last year, and as probably Brentford will do this year. But listen, the pleasure in that we've had as a club getting to the Championship has outweighed the frustrations for me, as long as the club decides that it wants to get back there.
Your loanees, I know that, well, when they go back, Tom Lawrence, Shane Duffy, Joe Rules, as it stands, they're all going back to Premier League clubs. That may obviously change in Cardiff, but do you think that, having had months of experience at the bottom end of the Championship, fighting for their lives, do you think that will stand them in good stead to make, potentially, in the coming months, the next step to the top flight?
Well, you can only ask for regular games, and all 3 of those have had regular games at a very good level. They've also had a manager that's, you know, not mollycoddled them. You know, I've not said, oh, you're from Everton, you're from Man United, you're from Cardiff, you know, I'll treat you with kid gloves. The clubs know that we've, you know, treated them like we've needed to treat them, and sometimes we've needed to tell them off, and sometimes we've needed to praise them, and that's what we've done. And those 3 have been pretty consistent for us. Now, whether they make it into their Premiership teams shortly, we don't know. But what we've done is we've given them the competitive games for them to work out what they need to improve on, because they're all still very young lads. They all look a lot older than what they are actually, but they're all young lads. And it's also given their clubs a chance to see how they've handled the Championship, which in Cardiff's case, with all due respect, it looks like they're, you know, going to be going down. So they'd have seen, you know, Joe Rules in the Championship, and would have seen whether they think, you know, he's one for them. They're all on contract, by the way, you know, at their clubs. So I think Tommy's about to be offered a new one at Man United. So I don't know whether I can. Yeah, no. Well, he's one that Man United want to look at the moment. So actually, he won't be involved on Saturday. Okay. I'm not sure whether Man United want me to say that or not, but anyway, I've said it. You know, because, you know, he's done great for us, and they believe there's a lot of people have thought he's done well, and Ryan Giggs, being new, wants to see him up there as he's just about to sign a new contract. They want him around the first team at the moment, which is great. We've done our job. You know, we've brought them in, done well for them. They've done well for us. We've given them back, you know, like the old surrogate mother or whatever it is, and said, you know, thanks for looking after him, and thanks for helping him grow as a footballer.
He certainly seemed to progress, didn't he, all the time he was there?
Yeah, he did progress. You know, there's a few things he needs to improve on to play in the Premiership, but you know, that's because he's young and inexperienced. But you know, what he has got is he's got a mentality to want to win football matches. He's a good athlete, and he's got Premiership athleticism, that's for sure, and Premiership fitness. You know, he's a naturally fit kid that he likes running at defenders, and he's happy to do it for 90 minutes, so long as he's got the ball, of course.
You'd glad to know then that when the Middlesbrough Gazette called me this morning and asked for a danger man, I identified him.
Nice one.
Well, then leave it till Monday, that. What you're going to say. Do us all a favour.
This week I finished watching the 8-hour epic
yeah.
DVD. Yeah.
Congratulations.
That's
That is going to be on the Call of Duty.
I watched it.
Did you enjoy it?
I did.
Ladies and gentlemen, you must realise and know that Steve Southern really enjoyed the DVD, so please buy it, and that'll help me and Stuart Owsley go on holiday somewhere nice. No, it won't. I don't make any money out of it. Club does.
But what I was saying, obviously, like the Wembley trip and all of that, only seems like yesterday.
Yeah.
But obviously, it was all this month last year. Have you found the season to have gone rushed by?
I think, I think it has. Now you're sitting here now, sort of talking about the end of the season. It has gone by, but I don't think anyone will realise the amount of work that needed to be put in by the management team to keep us competitive. You know, you've got to be so organised at this championship level. Every team's got a pattern and a way of playing. I know I've said this before, and you've got to stop that pattern, because if you can stop that pattern, then that helps you stay in the game. If you don't stop that pattern, then you can see the quality players within that pattern get opportunities, they get chances, etc., etc. It really is a different level of concentration in the Championship, and that's why generally you get some real good players in the Championship, because they're trying to get to the Premiership, and these clubs are taking on these players at a salary and signing on fees and all that sort of thing, akin to the Premiership, because they know that they're going to be the players that are going to take them there and keep them there.
No, I enjoyed the DVD.
Brilliant. It shows you what goes on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It shows you the characters. It's a little bit like an EastEnders, isn't it? Where it's like, you know, if you watch it,
and all your family turn up.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But if you watched it like an hour at a time, you get the story, don't you? It's like a story, and you see the characters, the quiet ones, the naughty ones.
So who's our Doc Cotton then?
Who's our Doc Cotton? There'll be someone in there somewhere. Our kit man probably.
One final question from me. Do you like the new Art Deco on the field?
I thought an alien had come down and put a few crop circles on there, like, you know what I mean? But listen, I'll have nothing to say that our groundsman is different class, you know, and it's good that you said that, because it gives me a chance to throw that in. I'm not too sure what he's doing out there, but all of a sudden our training grounds, that training ground up there, if you go up there, you'll see that's the best it's looked, just before we get the chance to put a store on it, which we need, of course. But he really has made a big difference on the pitch, just with time and effort, and probably a little bit more, whereas you have to lay out to make sure that you look after the grass. So he's done very well. The TLC that he's put in has been first class.